7 Life Discoveries that most people make after 40. There is no shortcut to unhappiness other than conditional happiness. 10 years ago I met a friend over coffee. It was her 30th birthday, and I said that the next decade would be the best decade of her life. A few days ago, we met again, and I made the same promise, but about what awaits her after 40. For some people, reaching the age of 40 marks the beginning of a downward spiral. We fear the future, become defensive at work, resist change, and lash out at hopeful young idealists. This is what happens to people who refuse to turn their life problems and difficulties into wisdom. They repeat their mistakes, and their frustration and dissatisfaction constantly grow. Smart people learn from their inexperienced youth by putting the lessons they learn into practice. And when they reach middle age, life is easier for them. Don't be like me. Do what all smart people do. Learn from the mistakes of others, and avoid the tricky traps that most people in their 20s and 30s face. The following 7 lessons reflect the wisdom earned through years of short-sightedness, failure, and missed opportunities. The first: if you care about someone else's opinion, then you will never achieve anything. Before making any bold decision, one question has always held me back: what will other people think of me? It's normal to be afraid of rejection and judgment. The onslaught of criticism can indeed cause feelings of shame, but it's not as bad as we imagine. And it is quite possible to cope with this using one simple tactic: silence. Who or disdain silences criticism without violating your honesty. All of them are unworthy of your excuses. It is also the most powerful response to someone else's hostility. Sooner or later, the time will come when you will conquer the beast of rejection, condemnation, and criticism, and you will not need to prepare for this. You should look into his eyes as often as possible. This will help you develop immunity to his poison. After such an inoculation, you will never again be afraid of judgment. Second, after that, you won't have enough time to enjoy life. We know that our time on earth is limited, but we do not realize this until we reach an age when it becomes obvious that youth has already passed. At 20, we feel like we still have a lot of time ahead of us to realize our dreams and build good relationships. But so we're just wishful thinking. Time is always working against us. And in order to fulfill some of your desires, you must first give up something else. Always so. Don't put off changing jobs, creating relationships, and fulfilling other desires until some imaginary convenient moment. It does not exist. Time will pass quickly, and you will not even notice how you say, "I wish I had done this when I had the opportunity." Third, true financial freedom does not depend on how much you get paid at work. Anxiety about money is associated with the fear of aging. Whether you rely on the goodwill of your employer or the stability of the stock market, you will wake up each morning stressed. Every year, this fear will make you more and more cynical. I see this in a real-life example, where my classmates cling desperately to their jobs because their professional skills don't matter much outside of their current job. They are angry at the world for their vulnerability, directing that frustration at the scapegoats they know. There can only be one solution here. You need to learn how to earn money without the help of an employer. Your ability to generate income on your own neutralizes the fear of financial vulnerability. Fourth, it is extremely important that among your friends there are people both older and younger than you. At 25, my life revolved around running. I was a member of the track and field team, and many of its members later became my best friends. Some of these friends were much older than me, and I liked it when they shared their life experiences. Over time, I met runners 10-15 years younger than me. With their naive hopes and belief in the impossible, they reminded me of myself. Younger friends infect you with optimism and self-confidence, while older friends endow you with wisdom. You equally need both the first and the second. Fifth, relationships are like French fries. If the potato is delicious, we enjoy it. If not, we eat it anyway, because no one can resist the smell and the sight of French fries. For many years I tried to build and maintain my relationship, but in the end, I realized that if there were no sincere friendships and romantic relationships in my life, then I clung to relationships that were empty and unhealthy. As with French fries, if they don't taste good, you'll have to make do with what you have. When I turned 30, I gave up. I got tired of this worldview, and I began to enjoy life. Loneliness. With the right approach, loneliness can help you grow. It will be difficult to resist unhealthy relationships, but if you agree to be single, you will become more attractive as a partner or friend when worthy people appear in your life. 6. Failure to understand the essence of sunk costs leads to a chain of making wrong decisions. A few years ago, a friend of mine gave up the lucrative profession of a chef. My first question was, but what about all these years spent on career growth? We're throwing away 15 years of experience and a lot of money spent on education. My thinking is an example of sunk costs, the phenomenon where you keep investing just because you've already invested your time or resources into something, and people are more receptive to this than you think. Here are some more examples for you. Further investment of money in a deliberately unprofitable project. The habit of clinging to a dead relationship because you have been together for a long time. Building a career in a profession that you do not like because you spend a lot of time and money on this education. All of the above investments of time and money are sunk costs, and they can't be returned. Continuing unsuccessful attempts just because you have already spent time or resources on it, you only increase your suffering. If you find yourself in this position, ask yourself, if I could start all over again, but without investing in it, would I go down the same path again? If the answer is no, drop everything and move on with your life. 7. There is no shortcut to unhappiness than conditional happiness. If you have ever received a huge pay raise or won some valuable prize, then you probably know the feeling of euphoria that accompanies such success. And you know the transience of this feeling. As soon as the joy subsides, you want more. As a result, we begin to seek happiness only in achieving goals, and everything else is relegated to the background. This worldview is built on the concept of conditional happiness. We allow ourselves to be happy only when we achieve certain successes. If you have the same mindset, the following self-addresses will seem familiar to you. I will be happy if I get a promotion. If I buy this fancy car, I will be happy. I will be happy if I find a girlfriend. If the pursuit of achievement itself does not bring you happiness, then even after crossing the finish line, your pleasure will not last long. Enjoy what happens in the process, and if you fail, reevaluate your goal. Everything you need to know. Wisdom empowers us to make informed decisions and look at life in a more creative way. And this can be achieved in 2 ways. Make your own mistakes and learn from them. Learn from the mistakes of your predecessors. If you choose the second option, you will start living a more fulfilling life long before you reach your 40s.